Good evening. I'd like to begin by saying thank you and welcome everyone who decided to attend today to learn about the updates to commercial activity tax. My name is Jay Barnes and I'm a tax examiner in the Business Tax Division. Today we're going to review some of the updates coming to CAT. My hope is that by the end of this presentation, you will have a clear understanding of the CAT changes to determine how they may or may not affect you. Before we begin, there are a few items I would like to review with you based on recent phone calls and correspondence received by the department. If you're going to cancel your account due to being below the new threshold, the effective date you'll want to use is 12/31/2023. If you cancel an account prior to filing, either your fourth quarter 23 or your 2023 annual return, that will have no impact on your ability to file. Gateway and Telefile will still allow you to file your 2023 returns. We want to provide this disclosure slide just to inform everyone that today's session is going to include a high overview of the general information, and any information should not be considered legal or tax advice. Any changes made by the legislature may change the accuracy of the content. Also keep in mind that depending on the situation, any small difference can change the outcome and have a different impact on how the changes may impact you, especially if you're in a group, which we'll get into that momentarily. As always, we have a great group of examiners ready and willing to assist you during our business hours at the numbers you see on our screen. House Bill 33, otherwise known as the Budget Bill, was passed and included quite a few changes that affect the CAT. With that said, our taxpayer base for CAT will be decreasing quite significantly due to the increase in threshold from 150,000 to 3 million. For today's topics, we will be going over what CAT is, how you know if you're subject to this tax, filing requirements now and in the future, and frequently asked questions that the department has received so far regarding the upcoming changes to CAT. The first topic we want to discuss is what is the commercial activity tax? For a little background context, historically there was a corporate franchise tax that was phased out and replaced by the CAT, with CAT being enacted in 2005. This is general information, and we do have resources available at the end of the presentation if you'd like to read more about the wonders of the commercial activity tax. It is important to also consider common ownership. CAT does require that individuals with common ownership file as one taxpayer. Here we are referencing the taxpayer, but it could be a group of entities that are commonly owned by an individual or businesses. So what is the commercial activity tax? CAT is defined by three main criteria. The first point is that CAT is an annual tax imposed on the privilege of doing business in Ohio, measured by taxable gross receipts from most business activities. Next, the CAT applies to gross receipts that are sitused or sourced to Ohio. And finally, taxpayers with taxable gross receipts of more than $3 million in the calendar year are subject to CAT. Please note that prior to 2024, taxpayers with taxable gross receipts of more than $150,000 in the calendar year were subject to the CAT. And effective 2025, taxpayers with taxable gross receipts of more than $6 million in the calendar year are subject to CAT. So again, these are the three main criteria associated with the CAT tax. Now that we know what CAT is, let's take a few moments and talk about the filing requirements. First, annual minimum tax. What has changed with the AMT? Beginning in the 2024 tax year, annual filing is no longer available. All taxpayers that remain subject to the CAT will be required to file quarterly. The quarterly deadlines will remain the same, May 10th for the first quarter, August 10th for the second quarter, November 10th for the third quarter, and February 10th for the fourth quarter. If you cancel your CAT account now, you will still have a filing requirement for 2023. Something to keep in mind that tends to be misunderstood sometimes is that even if you don't have any taxable gross receipts for a filing period, it does not remove your requirement to file CAT. That is why we're emphasizing to cancel your account if you become aware that you're no longer subject to CAT. Just to visualize some of the changes, on the left is how annual minimum tax was previously structured. Taxpayers utilized previous calendar year's taxable gross receipts to determine the current year's annual minimum tax. You can see the tiered annual minimum tax structure here. On the right, you see the annual minimum tax has been eliminated beginning January 1st, 2024. The CAT tax rate of 0.26% will be charged as tax due on receipts exceeding the $3 million taxable gross receipts in 2024. When the return is filed, the gateway will automatically apply the exclusion starting with the first quarter as it does now, and it will carry any remaining exclusion forward for you. If you file the 2023 return with less than $150,000 in gross receipts and qualify for a refund of the 2023 annual minimum tax, we will process the refund without a refund claim. You can still submit a refund request, but it is not required as we will be reviewing the counts and issuing refunds for any annual minimum tax credit overpayments. So what happens now? There are updates that have been made to our website at tax.ohio.gov, which we will go over shortly. You can cancel using the checkbox on the final return. If you cancel using the checkbox, you do not need to complete the CAT cancel transaction on the gateway since the account has already been canceled. You can see as of January 1st, 2024, these are the filing requirements. For annual filers, your filing deadline is May 10th. Quarterly filers should have already filed by now. The next slide will get into the 2025 requirements. These are the requirements for 2025. If you are not closing your CAT account now and anticipate your taxable gross receipts will be less than $6 million in 2025, you will file your quarterly returns in 2024 with your final fourth quarter 2024 return on or before February 10th, 2025, and just check the box on the return to cancel your account at the same time. Now let's go over some frequently asked questions. What should I do now if I will not have more than $3 million in taxable gross receipts in 2024? If you wait until you file your final return to cancel the CAT account, the gateway will allow you to backdate your cancellation request to December 31st, 2023. Just check the box on the return and your account will be canceled. If you file using telefile, you will not be able to cancel your account as part of your return. You can use the CAT cancel transaction through the Ohio Business Gateway, send in the business account update form to cancel your account, or feel free to call us at the numbers at the end of the presentation and we'll be happy to assist by phone. So who must file CAT? So the CAT's based only on your Ohio taxable gross receipts. We have a simple chart here that goes over each year's thresholds. From the beginning of CAT through 2023, the threshold to be required to file is $150,000 in taxable gross receipts. For 2024, that increases to $3 million. And for 2025 and into the future, that requirement is $6 million. Do these changes impact periods prior to 2024? So on the screen, you'll see the annual minimum tax information release. It explains the tiered structure for the annual minimum tax and is based on the prior calendar year's taxable gross receipts. The annual minimum tax will still be applied to all periods prior to 2024. If I am no longer subject to CAT in 2024, do I still have to file a CAT return for 2023? The answer is yes. Taxpayers subject to CAT must file for 2023. It does not take away from that filing requirement. As an annual filer, will I owe tax for 2023? So there will be no annual minimum tax payment due on this return. If you do not exceed $1 million in taxable gross receipts, the only tax that is due is 0.26% on the amount exceeding the $1 million exclusion. What happens if I have taxable gross receipts that are slightly below the new exclusion amount and likely will increase in the next few years? So in this case, you have a couple of options. If you're not sure and you think you'll be close to $3 million, you can leave your account open and file quarterly. As long as you're under the 3 million threshold, you'll pay no additional tax. Once you go over 3 million, you will. You can also choose to close your account, and when you exceed the $3 million threshold, you notify us that you need to reactivate your account, and we will do that for you. Either way is completely acceptable to us. I have a new business that exceeded $150,000 in taxable gross receipts in May of 2023. Will I still need to register for the CAT if I know I will not exceed $3 million in 2024? The answer is yes. You will need to register for CAT effective the date you exceeded the $150,000 threshold. Once you have registered, there will be two parts. You will need to file your 2023 CAT annual return. As long as your return is less than $1 million in taxable gross receipts, there will be no additional tax due with this return. If you anticipate your 2024 taxable gross receipts to be less than $3 million, you can just check the box on the return to cancel your account. Because you registered a new account in 2023, there will be a separate annual minimum tax payment due for this year. You can use the CAT payment transaction on the gateway, selecting annual minimum tax as the payment type to make this payment. How do I cancel my CAT account? If you file a 2023 annual return or a fourth quarter 2023 return on Gateway, you will see a checkbox has been added to the return to allow you to cancel the CAT account when filing the return. If you use this option, the CAT will be canceled when you file the return effective 12/31/2023. You will not need to submit a separate cancellation request if you use this option to cancel the CAT account. CAT accounts that are annual filers would not be switched to a quarterly filer until after the May 10th, 2024 deadline to allow time to file the final return and cancel the CAT account. What if I do not cancel my CAT account? If you have an open CAT account, you are required to file, even if you're below the threshold. If you do not file, you could receive notices and assessments. Remember, as of January 1st, 2024, there are no more annual filers. All 2024 returns will be quarterly returns. I am a combined or consolidated elected taxpayer. Does each member of the group account need to reach the new exclusion amount to remain subject to the CAT? The answer is no. For an example, a combined group might have 10 members that all have receipts less than $3 million individually, But once the receipts are combined, they exceed the $3 million threshold. This combined group would remain subject to the CAT since as a group, they meet the filing requirements. So these are active links. On the left screen is a link to the new information release that details all of the changes we went over today. And on the right is a link to our new webpage for the CAT on tax.ohio.gov that has all of the important changes coming to CAT. A link to the information release and all of the frequently asked questions we reviewed. This page will be updated as additional information becomes available. If you have questions after this presentation, please feel free to reach out to me or call the department for assistance. My email is j.barnes@tax.ohio.gov and our phone number is 888-722-8829. Also, if you have not signed up for tax alerts, please consider signing up for them. Any of the updates that are being made to CAT will be sent out in a tax alert. Lastly, please don't forget to follow us on social media. Important reminders and updates will be shared on all of our social media pages. We do have social media presence on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and YouTube. So if you got anything out of my presentation today, the thing I hope that you get is beat the rush. Commercial activity taxpayers who anticipate having less than $3 million in taxable gross receipts in 2024 should cancel their account effective 12/31/2023. If your taxable gross receipts for 2023 are less than $1 million and you are confident you will be less than $3 million, there's no reason to wait. You can file your return now, cancel your account, and there would be no tax due with the return in this circumstance. This concludes our CAT presentation. We will continue to take questions in the chat for the next 5 minutes. If you don't see a response, we will email you a response within the next few days. Thank you and have a good evening.